YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with some linebacker rankings for the 2020 NFL season. Recently been doing all kinds of different rankings. Recently did the edge rushers. Now we're on the linebackers. So off the ball linebackers here. A lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. So narrowing it down to actually got a top 33 here, to 32 plus one here, like we did with the edge rushers. But again, based on the 2020 NFL season, so basically predictions for this upcoming season. So there is a rookie in here, pretty high on the list. You probably can guess who it is. So if you're one of those people that don't like unproven guys in rankings, then this is now the time to turn the video off, all right? Because this is going to be a rookie kind of high, and some people just can't handle it. But these are basically predictions for the 2020 season. We're moving forward here. We ain't looking at the past anymore. Subscriber goal, 60K by week one of the NFL. Please help us get there. I think we're going to do it. Support's been awesome. Really appreciate you guys. Follow that Twitter, polls, constant NFL talk, breaking news. Yeah, and action too. We got action on there. And then we have the podcast as well. Link in the description in the comments for any of those things that you may need there on the screen. You'll find that down below in any video. So did rank 33 here. I did that at the edge rushers. I ranked 32 kind of plus one. So Anthony Walker, who racked up a ton of tackles last year, makes his way on the list here. Really good in run support. And it kind of just shows how good the linebackers are in today's NFL, that we got some really good guys down here. Jordan Hicks, another one that's really good in the run support for the Cardinals defense. It's going to be very interesting to see how they use all these players, because they have Hicks, Devondre Campbell, who just missed the list. And they have Isaiah Simmons, different type of linebacker, but it's going to be interesting to see how they use all these guys. Zach Cunningham of the Texans at 31, a young linebacker that continue to grow. I expect to see a lot of just the two linebackers out there in terms of the off-the-ball linebackers, Cunningham and McKinney, and using that extra nickel, basically an extra defensive back. Number 30 is going to be Miles Jack of the Jaguars. I thought his best year was maybe his first year even, on the field. And I think getting a guy like Joe Schobert, I think actually helps Miles Jack, which we'll talk about Schobert in a second. But Miles Jack's kind of been playing inside a lot, and I always viewed him as a 4-3 outside linebacker. That's just how I viewed him, and I think they can kind of give him more of those looks now that they got Schobert to kind of play inside. So we'll see. But Jack expected a little more at this point in his career, but still a very solid athletic linebacker. Matt Milano's been very impressive for the Buffalo Bills. They play a lot of two linebackers with Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano, and they really cover a lot of ground out there. So Matt Milano being their 4-3 outside linebacker, it's been very impressive for them at his young career here. Shaq Thompson at 28 of the Panthers, pretty much taking over the keys to that linebacker unit with Luke Kuechly gone, so that's going to be interesting. But something that is pretty cool about Shaq Thompson, we've seen him play outside and inside linebacker, and that was coming in, coming into the NFL thinking, is this guy more of a safety even because he's how athletic he is, and will he be able to play an NFL linebacker? And he's shown that he can do more than that. So it's interesting to see where the Panthers take this new scheme, because his new coaching staff there, Luke Kuechly gone, but Shaq Thompson seems like he's getting better every single year. Joe Schobert at 27 had a career year for the Browns there. I think he has the ability to play inside or out. I think he'll play inside for the Jaguars, but pretty impressive in coverage. His playmaking ability actually was kind of what stood out, kind of not unexpected, but that was kind of that extra he added to the game there. Danny Trevathan of the Bears at 26. I mean, not quite as good as he was a few years ago, but still a very solid 3-4 inside linebacker and a very good duo there at Roquan Smith, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Jamie Collins at 25, kind of a hybrid player, could be a pass rusher a bit. Question with him is, are we going to get the same Jamie Collins from New England, because we've seen him pretty much only thrive in New England so far in his career? The Lions are going to run pretty much the same exact scheme there with Matt Patricia, of course. So they need that hybrid linebacker, utility linebacker that's almost a pass rusher. It's an outside linebacker that's almost a pass rusher at times. So you love to see the versatility there, that what he can do. He's kind of both an off-the-ball linebacker and a pass rusher. They kind of been using Devon Kennard for that. So now they kind of get an upgrade there with Jamie Collins, so that should be interesting to see how he plays, even though he's not with the Patriots. But this is going to be the first time away from the Patriots with the same scheme as the Patriots, though, we expect. So that's the good news there. Moving on, number 24 is going to be Leighton Vander Esch. I know most people probably have him higher on other rankings. Rookie year was great, better than expected. Yeah, my problem in the pre-draft process was the worry about the injury, and that kind of popped up last year. But when he did play last year, I thought his game was very sloppy. It didn't seem the same as the year before. That could have something to do with him playing with an injury, though. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's completely gone or fixed this year, or it doesn't necessarily mean the opposite either. So it's kind of a mystery guy. We've only seen one. It was a very solid year, but we've only seen that. So it's a tough one to predict. I just feel safer with some of these other linebackers ahead of him right now. Benardrick McKinney at 23. I think he does more for the Texans defense and what they're giving credit what he gets credit for. I think he controls most of that field. I think him and Cunningham cover a lot of ground there, and they will be this year. I think it's really going to be two off the ball linebackers. I know Merciless is a pass rush linebacker, but his job is to get after the quarterback. So I think they're going to be running a lot of nickel there. So a lot of ground to cover there. For the big-time run stopper here. Corey Littleton at 22. How is he going to be away from that system where he kind of surprised everyone at? Was a big-time player there with the Rams. Big signing for the Raiders. I like the signing. Let's see if he can continue to play like that, because he was just kind of a top special teamer. Then all of a sudden, just becomes a pretty darn good linebacker there. They'll also run with a lot of two linebackers there in Las Vegas. Quan Alexander at 21. Tough one to rank. I want to rank him higher. I think his talent says much higher than this, but tough one because hard to trust to stay healthy. And they're kind of getting Dre Greenlaw in there quite a bit as well. He can be making his way on the list very soon. But Alexander, we've seen he's fully healthy early last year when he's 100% healthy. This guy was dominant. I was talking about the best players of the week each week, and I thought Quan Alexander was kind of in that conversation for the most part early last year. So tough one to rank there. Dante Hightower of the Patriots. Very important role for them. Another team that plays a lot of the two linebacker sets there, and they want to rush some of these guys sometimes. No Kyle Van Noy, so a lot of responsibility for Dante Hightower this year. So excited to see that. Another one that needs to stay healthy. Maybe not the same as he was a few years ago, but still a top 20 linebacker. And just so I meant to talk about this earlier. This is only a small percentage of starters here. So if you see a guy lower on the list, it doesn't mean they're the lower end linebackers. These are the best of the best. All the guys that are on the list here. Alexander Johnson from the Broncos with a breakout year last year. Well, it was a breakout year because he hasn't really played before that. But off the field issues kept him. They also got cleared up. Kept him off the field, which was a very good prospect, at least for me, out of Tennessee. And he was able to show that. The total package of his game, very good in coverage downfield. Pretty much an athletic freak back there too. So I expect him to keep on improving here. So top 20 for him. C.J. Mosley, another one we didn't really get to see last year, was towards the top of the inside linebacker rankings. Again, this is all off the ball linebackers, and we'll see so we still got to kind of learn how is he at this day. Today after the injury, how is he in the Jets with the Jets defense? It's a pretty good defense. Some big players on there, but it's definitely one we kind of wait and see. Excited to see here. Anthony Barr at 17. Anthony Barr's another tough one to rank. He's one of those game plan presence factors. You got a game plan for him because he'll line up everywhere. He'll kind of give you disguises. Is he rushing the passer? Is he dropping in coverage? Is he kind of sticking in the middle of the field here, trying to play the run? You don't know what he's going to do. So it's a key piece, a very important piece of their defense. Just the difference between now and I think a few years ago is he had that presence, plus he had that crazy production, which put him towards the top. One of the very top linebackers in football. Last couple of years, maybe he hasn't had that crazy production. Obviously, it's still a very good linebacker, but a very important piece there for the Vikings. But I think at just any given moment, he can kind of start break out again. But he's such an important game plan factor for them. Top 16, I got Jayon Brown here, a couple Titans here. Jayon Brown, a good young linebacker I was high on at UCLA. This guy's going to continue to improve as well. Very good. I think he actually was involved more in the blitzing game, actually getting after the quarterback a couple years ago. I mean, not as much last year. They might have Rashaan Evans taking more of those duties over. But Jayon Brown, athletic linebacker, I think it's pretty rangy as well. He's going to continue to improve. Rookie from last year, Devin Bush, was very impressive in his just this rookie year. We've seen the Steelers' defense, very good pieces for several years, like we know, but they were missing that inside linebacker. They played two of them too. They were missing really a standout guy there, and you see the Steelers' defense take that next big step once they add a guy like this that they had to go get. They had to go trade up to get. So it shows how good he is. Another Titan player here, 14, Rashaan Evans. a few years ago, was drafted out of Alabama, and yeah, they pretty much do everything with these linebackers. They didn't have too much of a pass rush on the outside, so they use these guys to blitz on third down quite a bit. Rashaan Evans was showing up in some big-time games, especially on the goal line. I think he stood out big time on the goal line, filling gaps, getting in the backfield before anybody else. So it's another guy that just kind of by default just continues to get better. Roquan Smith from that same draft class, Rashaan Evans, kind of back and forth which one's better. I think Roquan Smith also has that impressive addition to his game once he got in the NFL of getting after the quarterback. On the blitz. It's pretty tough to split these guys up. We always have the debate of Tremaine Edmonds, Roquan Smith, Rashaan Evans. I think the teams are very happy with which linebacker they got. The specific fits there. These guys are very impressive. These young guys are very impressive. Next group of guys, got Fred Warner at 12, rangy, athletic linebacker. See him very impressive, kind of thrashing downfield and outside runs is kind of where he stands out. So he's very impressive at his young age so far for the Niners. Deion Jones at 11. He came out right out of the bat for the Falcons a few years ago, coming in the league. Almost expected him probably well inside the top 10 right now based on how he's playing there. Some injuries here and there, but another one of those athletic linebackers. He's got such a tough role back there. It was pretty much him and Campbell there, who's now on the Cardinals. For the Falcons, pretty much carrying the load back there. So, pretty tough task, I guess I should say. I have a rookie at number 10, Isaiah Simmons, one of the best, maybe the best all-around linebacker I've ever scouted, and we do a lot of work on the NFL draft here at the Goat House, if you didn't know. And this guy, potentially at times he won't even line up as a linebacker, but I'm calling him a linebacker because that's what he is first. He can play pretty much anywhere. I think he'll be used as a pass rusher at times as well. This guy's an absolute freak. He isn't missing anything to his game, and I don't mean that because he can play at multiple positions. I'm talking about linebacker. He really isn't missing anything to his game. There's really no negative there. He's an absolute freak. This guy could very well be the very best linebacker in football in no time. So I already have him in the top 10. It's a prediction for this year. Demario Davis had it was kind of a random breakout year. He's always been good, but he's kind of like a little later in his career, and I'm not super late or anything, but just a really good breakout year for him. We know he's pretty solid in run support. I thought his, in the passing game, the coverage game, I thought he was extra, special last year, like impressive. It just came out of nowhere for him. So nothing telling me that won't go away. It's going to continue to happen. I thought he was pretty big on third down. You would kind of notice him more than, and they got some big names. You kind of notice him more than others in those situations last year. So a very impressive season, making his way in the top 10 here. Moving on, number 8, I got a second-year guy. Devin White was my top linebacker prospect last year, an absolute freak of a guy. We've seen him miss some games this year, but when he was in, you saw the difference. Him and Levante David, an excellent duo there. This guy's going to continue to get better. Another guy that's not missing anything to his game. It's hard to figure out which one he's better at, coverage or stopping the run. Probably coverage, honestly. Probably has something to do with his athleticism, but the moments where he gets in the backfield and, he's pretty much there right when the running back gets the ball, whoever it is, those are kind of the standout plays there. So I expect a pretty big jump here. It's not really that big of a jump. I think when we actually saw him, he was, especially down there late in the season, he was pretty ridiculous already. I got Jalen Smith at number 7. I think he's the much better Cowboys linebacker. Does a ton for them in coverage. This guy almost plays inside and outside at times, even though sometimes there's nobody necessarily inside or outside him in that scenario. He's where he aligns, and he's a do-it-all linebacker, in my opinion. And I think it's one of those freak athletes where I think, and talented football players, where I think if you wanted to rush him off the edge more, I think you could. So maybe we can start seeing that. The more and more how confident they are about him staying healthy. Because if you remember, he wasn't really supposed to be healthy, which thank God he is, because he's such a tremendous talent there. And I think he had to carry a bit too much last year, and that's why maybe he wasn't as good as the year before. He had to carry just quite a bit too much, I thought. Kyle Van Noy at 6. Thought about putting him with the edge rushers because he's pretty much both an edge rusher and an off-the-ball linebacker. It's a special talent just because how much he can do. If you want to call him an edge rusher, you're absolutely not wrong, too. It's going to be interesting to see what the Dolphins exactly do with him. It's going to be a bit of both. I think last year for the Patriots, I'd call him an edge rusher. Before that, I would even though there was times where he's an edge rusher, I'd call him an off-the-ball linebacker like I am here. And remember, Flores wasn't with the Patriots last year when he was more of an edge rusher. He was there the year before when they kind of had, Trey Flowers and Weiss being their pass rusher. He's more of an off-the-ball linebacker. But when he's so impressive is he'll line up as an edge rusher and kind of get in the other team's heads. But he's just dropping back in coverage, and he can pretty much cover anybody. He's such a smart player. So it's a big-time signing for the Dolphins. He's at number 6. Tremaine Edmonds at number 5 was definitely one of my guys of the draft a couple years ago. Just a freakish size, athleticism profile dude here with tremendous upside. Even though I was very high on him, like higher than anybody on the planet, I'm pretty sure. I really didn't expect him to be. I thought maybe there would be a little bit of struggle here and there, not crazy struggle or anything, but good play, but nothing crazy right now. I thought it was just the crazy upside guy. Well, by the time this guy's 25, he's going to be insane, but he's already that good, I think. I think by the end of this year, we could be talking him possibly in the number 1 conversation, perhaps around there. So this guy's got tremendous upside, and he's already playing at this level. So love me some Tremaine Edmonds here. And then on the top 4, Eric Kendricks with the career year, the breakout year. We know he can fill the gaps and stop the run, get in the backfield. But now, even though he's kind of always been solid in coverage, he's really kind of broken out in terms of the coverage downfield. It's almost like he's added some athleticism, some speed to his game, too, to help him in the coverage situations, but so instinctive, so smart. The 3rd down and 4th down stops last year were absolutely ridiculous. I can't even tell you how many there were. I think he broke the record for linebacker pass deflections last year, so it looks like Eric Kendricks just getting started, so that's impressive there. Bobby Wagner, number 3, who held this title for a very long time for me, and he's still definitely in the conversation. I think the top 3 separate themselves. I think the best 4-3 inside linebacker in football here, 4-3 inside linebacker here from the Seahawks. Bobby Wagner here, an absolute beast, and I think it's good to see because he's going to rack up an insane amount of tackles, but it seems to, and we know he makes those impact when you need it most. He makes those impact plays, but kind of see him kind of getting after the quarterback sometimes is good to see as well. So very welcoming number 1. Levante David at number 2. We've seen him play a 4-3 outside for so long and do so much, and they switched to a 3-4 last year when they added Devin White. And Shaq Barrett, of course, on the outside, Devin White on the inside. So what are they going to do with Levante David? Can he play that inside? It's kind of the question. So, yeah, he's going to play alongside Devin White on the inside, and he was tremendous. Maybe his best year. Every part of his game is top tier. And he's so instinctive. He comes up in the big plays. When you go back and watch the film, he just really stands out. It's one of those guys when you kind of go back and watch, it's like that's all you see is Levante David there. So number 2. Recently, I think on the podcast, we're talking linebacker rankings. Those podcast rankings are kind of on the spot right there. And I was kind of discussing Levante David 1, even though it's close. But here we are at my official final rankings. I got Darius Leonard at number 1. I'm just kind of going back and just realizing this guy's not supposed to be this good right now. He wasn't supposed to be this good right off the bat. What he's added to his game, like all the way around, coverage, stopping the run, but getting after the quarterback as well is that big bonus. What he's added to the game that quick is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And another year at this young age to add more, to learn more to the game is just, I just don't know how he's not going to be the number 1 linebacker. Again, it could be Bobby Wagner, it could be Levante David. It could be. They're very good, but it's just this is Darius Leonard's group. I think right now, just having everything to his game and being able to actually grow more. He actually can grow more. That's the scary part. So sitting down and really evaluating this. This is for something that didn't happen yet. 2020 season. I got to go with Darius Leonard. I just have to. So that is my linebacker rankings. A couple other good guys left off the list. Very close, Patrick Queen and Kenneth Murray, two rookie guys. Maybe a little bit of raw, players. They got a lot of upside. So guys like that maybe just missed the list. A lot of linebackers that are very solid. Even we talk about Bobby Wagner. KJ Wright was well into this list in the past. He is declining a little bit. So some really good linebackers just missed the list. We could talk about them in the comments or on Twitter if you want to come find me there. Always answering any questions there. That's going to do it, though. Please smash that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe. Follow that Twitter. Would appreciate any of that. But that is going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Yeah, bye.